you've been in business now since the early '90s for 29 years. How did you decide to make this your life and actually start a game store? That was, you were talking earlier that was very different from when you and I were back at Ohio State in the '80s. The game stores were very people's dark and people's closets, that kind of felt like, but they've changed a lot
Yes.
over the last 30 years. So tell me about your journey.
Well, it started off, I wrote a business plan in 1989 for a game store, and I couldn't make the income work with the rent because I would either be selling video games, and there weren't even a lot of those, and margins weren't as great, or I'd be selling a line of games that had a very small community that you'd mostly find at a hobby store, like war games from SSI or the Advanced Dungeons and Dragons books that weren't really acceptable at that point, or people are still, you'd still see news articles about Dungeons and Dragons and how it was evil, or people were getting hurt or in sewers or all the crazy stuff. So I just couldn't make it work. So in 1992, I opened up a comic book store with role-playing games in March of that year. And then, as luck would have it, Peter Atkins came out with Magic the Gathering in August of that year at Gen Con. And then it was really easy to make a living doing a game store. So that allowed me to expand into Games Workshop, and we brought all that in and then built that whole community. And I had to expand several times. And then I ended up in 6 different stores at one time. And that was really fun and great. But I kind of got away from what I wanted to do as far as the community. I can't be in 6 places at one time nor foster a community there. So it became more of a retail chain, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just wasn't the business that I wanted to do. I like coming in. I like talking with my customers. I have, I now help kids whose parents were coming to the store, and I even have kids that are coming into the store now at 29 years. So just, picking up D&D for the first time in a young person's group. So it's nice. I like that interaction. So it's where we don't have 8 stores now anymore. We've slowly closed all of the ones in the malls because it really wasn't a good fit for us. And now we just have 1 store here, and we're looking to open another one, but that's still on the horizon.
Sure. So tell us about how your store's laid out. As I see the picture in the background, looks like a really inviting kind of store with the layout and all.
Well, one thing that I did that's really kind of hard to see in this picture, but if you look down here on the ground, there's this aisleway. See that tile on the ground? Well, it's 8 feet wide, and it stretches from the entrance of the store all the way to the cash wrap over here. So in this section of the store, we almost never put anything in it, so that people always have 8 feet uninterrupted space from front to the game area where they never feel crowded. So, and because of COVID, we spread all where we used to be ADA compliant, 3.5 feet, which was required for wheelchair access. Now we went to 5 and 6 feet between the fixtures. So it made our play space a little bit smaller in the back because we took a couple of play tables out of the front and put them in the back. But now we're just changed the format that we have on the for what we allow in the games. So when people come in, they always get greeted. Not the old Blockbuster greeting where you just hear a voice from somewhere in the store, but eye contact, get within proximity of the person and actually interact with them, and then leave them with, ask them if they have anything that they're looking for. And if they don't, just tell them your name and we let them shop. Or if they ask us for more information, then we, give them a tour, or, we always ask them if it's their first time in the store, and just simple pleasantries. Every now and then people are like, I'm just looking. I was like, well, I'm just saying hi. It's just, sometimes, I don't know, it's fun. It's fun interacting with people, and everybody's different. So.
Yeah, you talk about the Blockbuster experience. I was thinking, you opened your store in '92. I was working at Blockbuster on campus at Ohio State in '92. Cool. The one there at Hudson and High. I was there for 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I was a huge video nerd at the time, and it was a great job for me. And I imagine if the game store was on campus, I'd work the game store on campus. So, but yeah.
Well, how you'd walk into those stores, and you'd walk in one way and you go out another way. And then when the door would ding, you would just hear this greeting. You wouldn't necessarily see. Yes, yep. You were just trained to say hello. You're like, oh, is that recording? So it's
Yeah.
very important for us, and we feel that it's a really good way of theft prevention too. When we can interact with the person, they know we're there for them, and then we reapproach within a period of time. Then there's a lot less theft that happens as well. So
Yep.
it's not
You're
us
making that.
following people around; they're just
Yeah.
making a connection.
Correct.
So
So why don't we go and do the walk through the store? So take us around and show us around your space.
sure. Um, let's see, what's the best way to do this? Looking at me. So you saw in the videos or that one that we gave you. So here's the front door. So as you walk in, let's see if I can do this well. This area, I'm going to walk backwards. This is cool. We have demo tables. Like right now, we got Ticket to Ride is new. So, and we'll put a demo on this after this weekend. Hello. We have some puzzle section, and then along the outside wall, you can see the outside wall, all these cabinetries. See, I'm not very good at tilting this thing. Another demo table. Love that brass game. So all these are alphabetized, and then we have different sections, and it's really hard. First I tried organizing things by publisher, organize things alphabetically, trying to pick a genre, like card games or deck building games, but creators are doing such a good job of mixing and matching all their games. Uh-oh. Am I still there?
Yep.
All right, because I lost the picture. All right, so they're so good at mixing all these games. You have deck builders with resource management and all these types of mechanics mixing together. So we quickly did away with that. We basically have some party game section. Like when you walk in, it's one of the first things that you can see, because Cards Against Humanity and these other types of party games are really, a great intro for the person that maybe not a gamer that just wants to do something casual around the campfire. So we have a kid section on this side that starts at 18 months. I don't know if you've ever seen an 18-month-year-old game, but Think Fun has a great one here. Teaches you how to roll a D6-sided die at the earliest age, so we can train you well.
Nice.
So, well, each side is different colored, and then there's 6 piles of cards, and then you roll color, and then they pick it, and it could be things like, rub your tummy or moo like a cow, or it's 6 different actions that you're probably teaching your child anyway. Just gives you a fun way of doing it. So we try and do a little bit for everybody. So we have chess sets and backgammon sets, and and puzzles and mahjong and different events for different stuff, even the detective types of games that are here. So in a 2-player game section, or 1 and 2-player game section. But the biggest section that's really grown this year, last couple of years, is the D&D section. I mean, look at all those miniatures WizKids keeps making. They're killing me on floor space. How am I supposed to keep all their stuff in stock? I mean, I've got shelves stacked on shelves and goblins. Am I moving this too fast? But if you get my idea.
You get people a little nauseous, but that's cool. It's the whiplash of all the things coming out for D&D, exactly.
I mean, there's just so much. I mean, it's great. And I wish these were here when I played D&D.
Oh, yeah.
I remember getting in the Ohio Student Union there across from Baker Hall at Ohio State, and they would have those gaming conventions. We'd go into the basement rooms, and they would just have army men or these machines or whatever, and in the whole floor, and you'd play on the floor, and you would play, dice game or a combat game, and it was like games have come a lot of ways since then. So
yeah, I remember it was old Capcom was the convention there at Ohio State back in that time
yes.
period. But I was thinking, went to at the time I was going to a place in Reynoldsburg called the Drowsy Dragon was the game store we had here in Columbus, and they had literally 2 shelves of D&D miniatures, either from Ralph Partha or from Citadel. And that was about it. There was nothing else. And now you see that whole area. You got the whole section there.
Yes, it's fun to be a gamer now. I mean,
yeah.
I have to go in cycles. There's so many games to play that, one year I'll say, okay, I'm gonna role play, and then I'm gonna play board games, and then I'm gonna dig out my Games Workshop and make some more models. So there's really something for everybody.
Absolutely.
So,
And so I was thinking, one of the ways we're doing the format here is we ask the store to tell us a publisher that they work with and one that they recommend that they want people to learn more about. And you put out Leader Games for us for this month. And so we're very excited to have them on. Tell us a bit about that and why you made that recommendation.
Well, Root's such a great game. And what I like about Root is how you can play every character, every race that you play is a different game for the most part. I mean, everybody's playing a different game at the same time. And I just thought that was so innovative. And the art is very inviting, and it's not the easiest game to teach new gamers, but if you can get people to just follow the card and get them to play the game once, I think that's the hardest thing about a lot of games. Just get people to play it. People get too involved in just trying to figure out everything they know about the game before they'll start playing it, and then you just never get anything done. So, but I like it. I liked Fort when it came out. It's a nice little version of it. Oath just released, and we sold all of ours. And unfortunately, I couldn't get more of the Kickstarter version. The regular retail version, I guess, is coming out in August. So, I mean, that's exciting. So, just in general, it's a great game, and a great company. And I think there's going to be plenty more games in that genre. Well, I don't know how many 4-letter words they can keep coming out with that people will want to go to, but Fort, Oath, Root. I'm sure they have more than with games coming, but there seems to be a pattern there.
Yeah, absolutely cool. Well, as we start to wrap up this section, I just want to thank you again for joining us today. Just tell me where in Northeast Ohio your store is located, and we will appreciate your time today.
North Olmstead is just west outside of Cleveland. It's really near the Cleveland airport. There's an intersection of Interstate 71, the Turnpike, I-90. We're kind of like right where they all kind of come together, right within that vicinity. There's a mall across the street called Great Northern Mall. So there's a lot of hotels. It's really easy to get to from pretty much everywhere in the Northeast Ohio area.
Cool.
So that's where we're at.
Yeah, my wife's from the Cleveland area, the east side of Cleveland. So next time I come through, I'm going to stop by and say hello to you and do a walk through the store.
That would be great. We should do that.
Awesome.
I invite everybody to come. No one's too far away. It's worth the drive wherever you are, Dawn. So.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thanks, James. Appreciate your time.